I think being an alcoholic or a drug addict, one of the biggest symptoms is absolute loneliness.
I never felt like I belonged anywhere.
You can be in a room full of people and you're completely alone.
I think a part of that was why I started drinking.
I was so depressed. I was fearful of everything, paranoid of everything. My life was completely isolated.
I would think about, okay, I'm not going to throw a plate across the room because it's going to break and I'm going to have to pick up the pieces.
You don't see any hope.
Until I got to a point where it's like, I'm going to break the plates.
A lot of people think that alcoholics and drug addicts just had too much fun.
And I got them all out of the cabinet and just started throwing them across the room.
The fun left our lives a long time ago.
I would lose my temper. I'd be one of those guys that kind of would hold stuff in, and then I would just explode like that. I could go from, I was a Jekyll and Mr. Hyde alcoholic.
When you get to the point where you need recovery, where you need to be around other people that are in recovery, because you're going to die if you don't.
I felt the angels of death around me. I felt literally darkness, spiritually darkness around me.
If there was any way I could still be having fun, I wouldn't be sitting here right now talking. I'd be out having fun.
Round and round and round your addiction goes, and where it stops, only you know. Only you'll be able to stop it. What do I know about addictions? What qualifies me to teach a class about how humor and laughter can help you get through addictions? I promise you by the end of all these classes, I reveal to you why. But these first part of these classes aren't about me. They're about other people who have so generously come and wanted to share their story, how they got through their addictions. Let's talk about addictions just for a moment. And that's two things. One, addictions are a spiritual disconnect. A couple of folks just revealed that, didn't they? These people are brutally honest. And that's how you get to what the bottom thing is in your addiction. You have to be brutally honest. Addictions are a spiritual disconnection. And second, it's not dealing with a feeling, an emotional feeling that usually most times happened when you were a kid. And it was a feeling that happened that was so powerful, that was so strong, that was so emotional, you'll do anything to avoid it. And anything. It's a distraction. Addiction is a distraction from that feeling. And then you just want to keep going after it because you felt, ooh, I got some distraction from the alcohol, from the food, from the drugs, from the sex, from the hoarding, from the gambling. It was a distraction from the feeling, only every time you go back to it, it's got to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And the feeling builds and grabs other emotions and becomes an 8, 9, 10-headed monster. And that's what happens. I know what I'm talking about. Again, I promise you, I'm going to reveal this to you later on. That's what addictions are. We got to get to that feeling. We got to get what that's about. The people that are in the class, I was going to say the episodes, but the class, you get it. The people that's coming up, we're going to continue this right now. They're going to start explaining to you and getting to that feeling and how laughter and humor began to help them get to that feeling and what helps them to this day.
I lived in my sister's basement, drinking till I passed out every day, watching 5 episodes of MASH on a 10-inch black and white TV set sitting on top of cantaloupe crates.
I had older brothers, and I got high when I was probably about 12, 13. When, pot and stuff like that wasn't around, I had older brothers that go, well, here, you drink beer. And alcohol was actually always around in my family. I was able to have a beer with, kind of German descent, and it wasn't really guarded. And they had that mentality that, well, if we let them drink, they won't be under a bridge. And, and my father I came from
So far you blamed your drinking on the Germans and your older brothers.
Yes.
When I can laugh about it, I find the humor in it, which makes it easier for other people to hear.
I didn't get around where I wanted to kill myself, but I was gotten around to where I didn't care if I lived or died, and logic tells me that the next step would be you didn't care if you lived at all, and when you're in that frame of mind all the time, there's nothing to laugh at or about or anything.
Well, I was drinking 24/7 for maybe a year, and I figured out that might be too much. So so I better quit. And so I quit, and about 36 hours into my quitting, I had a seizure. And luckily I was in a grocery store, and I fell out in the produce aisle, and I had tomatoes in my hand too. I'll never forget that, because when they put the ambulance came, and when they put the smelling salts underneath me, they thought I was bleeding. It was tomatoes.
Today, to keep from being in that frame of mind, I read somewhere it takes 20-something days to form a new habit. So I formed a new habit. I didn't count the days. I will learn to find humor in things.
They took me to the hospital, and all they did was feed me full of vitamins and good food, and 2 days later they sent me home. They didn't say go to AA, that you're a drunk. They said nothing. They said, if you drink again, don't stop all at once. And I thought, that is very good idea.
Good call.
That is
Good call.
I looked in the dictionary, and humor is being able to see the amusing sight of a situation or a condition.
So I stayed sober about a week, and within about 4 days, I was right back to where I was. I was drinking 24/7 again. There wasn't no easing back into this thing.
I knew before I sought recovery that I had a tremendous inferiority complex. And I knew that it started way back when.
And I found a program based out of California where you can drink while you're in recovery. And what's funny about that program is the lady that started that program is now in prison. She killed somebody drinking and driving. And that's no joke. That's really not funny.
No, it sure
It
is.
is to me, but not for her. But or the person she injured, I'm sure.
You know, I want to stop here just for a second. What's so funny about that?
To me, the humor and the irony is that could have been me. You know, I've been wrecking cars since I started drinking. I've wrecked every car I've ever owned. I had my first drunk driving wreck. Me and a bottle of Cuddy Sark had a disagreement. And I remember putting that quart of Cuddy Sark upside down the passenger side door handle, and I hit another car head on, put myself and 3 other people in the hospital, and got 27 stitches in my face with no anesthetic, you know, that whole deal. 2 days later, they sent me home with a prescription for pain medication. I very proudly threw that away and said, I don't do drugs.
In the first grade, I got in a fight with a kid, beat the hell out of him. A few days later, I got in another fight and got beat the hell out of me, and he started laughing. And I just shriveled up. I couldn't stand the laughter.
You couldn't stand to be laughed at.
And 6th, 7th grade, going to try to play baseball on the school team. And the priest that was the coach hollered at me and he says, you'd hit the ball better if you didn't shut your eyes when you swing the bat. Well, I was unaware that I was shutting my eyes, but everybody laughed, so I quit the team.
If I don't laugh about the trials and tribulations that I've caused in my life and that I can relate to in other people's lives, then I'm going to cry about it.
So people laughing at you and you feel inferior is what got you to drink.
So, yeah, and of course not then, but yeah. I'm 16, got drunk, did a few funny things, whipped some guy's butt, and everybody says, man, you were great. And that was it. You were great. And I had not heard those kinds of things for a long time.
We all say that, well, my alcoholic thinking made me do this. My alcoholic thinking led me to this. Other people say, my selfish thinking, my immature thinking, my screwed up thinking, but we have our own special set, you know. We've got alcoholic thinking.
As you just heard and saw, some of these people can get to that feeling easier than others. Some of them can laugh easier than others. That's just who we are as people. That's what makes us unique and so distinct in our personalities. That's what I wanted you to see, all these different people, so you can see how they get to that. Now in the next class coming up, what they're going to get to is they're going to get to what got them to stop drinking and doing their drugs. That's in the next episode. Hey, thanks for joining us here. I'm really hoping this helps you and helps other people. Feel free to share this class, any of these classes of the You Just Have to Laugh Naster classes, David Naster, is so they can help other people, because that's our goal at You Just Have to Laugh. And that's help healing. Pardon me, I just burped. I had a dramatic moment there and a belch came up. If that's not life, I don't know what it is. Take 2 on that one, huh? What I was going to say is, share these classes with other people. I hope they help. I hope they hit a nerve in you or somebody else. You go, wow, maybe I can, yeah, okay. Because you just have to laugh. It's a group, it's a community of people. We're just trying to do one thing. We have one intention, and that's help heal our emotional wounds, one laugh at a time. See you at the next class.